Hi, I'm Sas Simon.
I'm Lena Imamura.
And together we are the founders of GLO, also known as GLO. GLO is a neon design studio based out of New York City, and we focused on creative services, neon signs, as well as luminescent art objects.
Our mission is to light up people's lives.
And our motto is on another wavelength. How we started GLO is actually a funny story. In 2014, I was having my first nephew being born, and I thought a neon sign would be so cool to put in his nursery. I Googled neon New York City thinking it would yield a ton of results. It didn't. I truly had no idea where to get it, and I knew a friend from high school, Lena, who had a lot of neon in her home, and she was an artist.
I've always worked with light as an artist, whether it was resin or light bulbs, LEDs, but neon is a material that I just fell in love with.
And I reached out to her and I said, could you make this for me?
But it was fun to be able to design a neon for a specific use. The thing that I most remember about that process was the moment Sas came to pick up the piece. She was like, 5 of my friends want one. This is a thing.
She was like, well, do you want to do this? And then we spent 2 years kind of scheming and planning and designing. And in 2016, we launched GLO.
That was definitely part of our launch mission to make neon more accessible. I mean, before we started, neons were not in baby rooms.
They weren't at weddings.
They weren't at weddings. We really pioneered kind of that neon statement piece.
I think neon is now much more part of the zeitgeist, whereas before it felt like a specialty item.
Part of the challenge, I think, with starting anything is like the fear of, is this cool? Will other people like it?
So we thought it was cool and different, and we knew maybe 4 or 5 people that thought they'd be interested, but is that where the interest would sort of die off after that? Does this idea have enough legs to really walk? And that was something that we sort of had to take a leap of faith and see what happened. Our launch was relatively small. We sent out a newsletter to friends and family and made the website live. And then very quickly, it started kind of spidering out to people we didn't know. And that's when we knew, oh, people don't know where to get neon. And so we're becoming their hookup.
It felt surreal.
When we first launched GLO, we were probably doing 0.5 pieces a week, maybe 1. It was just the 2 of us sort of fulfilling every role. So now, 6 years later, working between 20 and 40 pieces a week, 7 full-time employees, as well as outside contractors we work with.
We ended up working with our dream list of clients.
Some of our top clients are Neiman Marcus, Saks, Netflix, Google.
Our number 1 priority is our team and kind of like our team happiness, because how can we light up people's lives if we're not happy?
When we look for anyone to join our team, we want them to be proud of their work and to enjoy the creative process and believe in sort of the vision. For us, social media was a great tool to find team members. We figured if they were following Name GLO, they were perhaps familiar with the work or fans of the work, and so it would be people that would be excited to sort of be here. When we're hiring a team member, flexibility is definitely one of the main strengths we're looking for. We're a small business, so we can't predict certain things. We think we know what the day is going to bring, and then that's not what the day brings.
I also think flexibility lends itself to maybe a more easygoing personality that is more collaborative with a team, more adaptive, more agile. Every team member contributes to the culture, and I think when it's not the right fit, it affects the culture.
There's probably about 60 to 70 steps that go into each piece or project that we work on. We use Google Workspace to keep the team cohesive, including Gmail to send mock-ups to the client, but if the file is too big, we will use Google Drive because it's probably the most accessible for the majority of our clients. I think we've established that no 2 days are the same here, so our calendar is like our holy grail. It lets us know what's being produced when, it lets us know what's being installed or delivered when, so we definitely all need to be on the same page, and it's really important that everyone puts their dates in the calendar. And then chat is great so we can have quick conversations with one another. It really kind of keeps efficiency.
Today we're going to show you how to make a glass neon piece and how our team works together to make it happen.
Okay, let me give you a little tour of the GLO studios. First, here is our showroom section. This is where we're able to show some of our colors and some of our different products. And let me take you to our font wall. Come. So here you can have a sense of all the different font options that we have in-house. You can see them all over here, and then you also have more colors because the color options are endless. So behind our showroom, there's a whole other part of our studio. We have our tools over here. We try to keep them as organized as possible. And then I'm gonna show you our fabrication studio, which is right over here. First, we keep all of our glass. You can see tubes like so. And then these glass tubes get turned into neon. We have our bending table where we bend our glass. We have our bombarding table where we add the electricity and gas. And then we have our aging table, which is when they sort of settle. And actually, Lena is going to bend a neon as we speak.
The creation of a neon is part art and part science. It's why our tagline is on another wavelength, because the light is a wavelength. So you start with a glass stick and you use fire to bend the glass into various shapes. And you use a little bit of air through a blow hose to maintain the diameter inside the stick. And then you use a pattern to kind of form the stick into the design you want. The most exciting part is you pump that stick with a lot of gas and electricity, and that's when it lights up, actually. It's like a little star because it's a vacuum inside the tube, and it's a lot of gas and electricity and noble gases like primary elements that kind of come together to create this lit object. So that's what's kind of magical about it. I feel very grateful to be able to work with light and to bring light into people's lives, and being able to be in a creative environment, doing creative things every day and like working with my hands is just very rewarding.
Subscribe for more tips.